Hi! Welcome to Turn-Based Besties, a podcast where two grown adults with no free time talk about their favorite RPGs. I'm DJ.
And I'm Sam, and we're besties that love to game.
Yeah, man. What are we talking about? I mean, we're gonna talk about other things, but like, what are we talking about today? Like, what's the game even?
Well, we're going to talk about Unicorn Overlord.
And I
So,
don't, I don't know like anything about it hardly.
hardly. That's why it's my job to convince you to play it. And that's what we
Yeah.
will eventually be talking about. But we should catch up a little bit. We chatted on the phone just for a second a few days ago, but you had a friend in town and got to go do some fun stuff. So we hung up
Yeah.
real fast.
I know. I was like, I can't talk to you because you are boring to me right now. Goodbye. I'm joking.
We have to save up all the excitement and all that energy for the podcast.
No, I
So,
know. I know. All I wanted to do was talk to you about so many things, but then I was like, I gotta save it for the podcast.
not really. No, no, not really. But you had a friend, you needed to see him. It was all good.
Yeah,
And that's
yeah.
fine because as I harp on much too often, I am also busy with multiple children. And so my stories for the day are as follows.
Child
Um,
stories.
child stories, hashtag child stories. But we were taking the kiddos. We're trying to get them to work on their bike riding and those kind of things. It's warm out, get some energy out in the evening before they go down. All those kind of things. So Jay, and In and I are going on this trail around a park, and it's nice. And there's a long uphill, and Jay just turned 3, so he's not the strongest, and he's riding this tricycle. He can ride a bike, but he wants to ride the tricycle. It's fine. And it's so funny. In is riding her bike with training wheels, and she's doing great. And she's pushing her way up this hill. And Jay talks in this kind of sing-songy way sometimes, and it's so cute. And he's got this little raspy voice,
Oh.
and he's trying to go up the hill on his little trike, and I'm pushing him every once in a while, trying to help him. And then during one time that I wasn't helping him and he started to slow down, he just goes, "My trike is not going well." And it
Oh.
was the funniest, cutest little thing because he's trying to get his little feet to go around and he couldn't quite make it.
His
And then
baby
another
trike.
time, oh, it was so cute. And then another time they were going up a steeper hill, and I was cheering on In, and I was telling her, you can do it. In, use those strong legs. And then I hear Jay from the side of me, and he goes, "And I go real fast too with my strong legs."
Did he use that voice also?
That is what, because he was grunting with his strong legs to push.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
You
Yeah,
have to use that voice. So
obviously.
so anyway, that was great. They're doing pretty well with their bikes, and then so that's a kiddo story. But
But
every once in a while, Taylor and myself, my partner Taylor and I, get to go be human adults that don't have kids, or we still have kids, but get to act, yeah, get to act in a way that maybe our lives don't completely revolve around kids and go out and do things. So a few days ago, shout out to our good friends Andrew and Catherine and the Starlight
Woo!
Theater here in Kansas City, because we got to go see Lindsey Sterling concert. I don't know if you're familiar with who Lindsey Sterling is.
I'm
Uh,
not familiar with Lindsey Sterling, but Catherine sent me a text. Oh, is it violin?
it's violin if you can't tell from my accent.
I actually could. You're doing a good violin
Pretty good
gesture.
violin.
Yeah. No, I knew you all went. Well, one, because you told me, but two, because Catherine texted me that who opened up we Walk the Earth, Walk on the Earth,
Walk off the earth.
Walk off the Earth. She texted me like a 30-second video, and she's like, "Can we all do this when we vacation this summer?" And I was like, "Yeah, absolutely, we can."
Oh, Walk Off the Earth was fantastic too. Yeah, they were the second opener. Oh my God, great. It was so much fun. Walk Off the Earth was awesome. They always did something different.
Hmm.
They played, I knew it was going to be good when their opening number included a theremin back to back with a didgeridoo,
Cool.
just to
Yeah.
throw it in there. Gonna be fun.
Yeah.
Gonna be fun. But Lindsay Sterling plays the violin,
Very
and she
cool.
goes ham with the choreography. I mean, she's just running all over the place. She's flexible. She's doing aerial stuff, like hanging upside down, playing the violin. She's doing it all. And at first, I was like, okay, there's a background track, there's something, it can't be. But no, she's playing the whole thing because you could tell a few times like a costume, a cape or something, because she makes all of her own costumes too, and they're amazing. Would like go over the violin, and then you wouldn't hear it or it'd mess it up, and then she'd move it off, and then she'd play, and it was back to normal. So, I mean, it was legit, and I was so impressed.
That's cool.
It's really cool. I recommend anybody watching, go look up some videos, go to a concert. She is impressive and amazing. But anyway, enough about me and all those really cool, non family oriented things I get to do with all my time. What else have you been up to?
I got my wisdom teeth out.
Woo!
So nice as almost a 40-year-old to get your wisdom teeth out. Actually, I didn't really have much pain, which was pretty nice.
Good.
Yeah, I didn't have much pain at all. I had a couple headaches. I was on a soft food diet for longer than I wanted to be. A lot of cottage cheese and applesauce for my dinners, while Max would have real food next to me, as well he should have had
No
right there.
solidarity from Max.
Yeah, I know. But I think 9 days into it, I had soup with like solid food in it, like mushrooms and tofu, and I was like, this is the best thing I've ever had in my life. So, but that was over 2 weeks ago, so I'm basically back to normal, which is nice. I still have like my tongue. I'll be like feeling for like the little holes that I have that are healing up. But yeah, it's pretty
And you
great.
just shed a tear for your lost teeth.
Thank you. I'm 3 teeth skinnier now, so
Oh,
I know
you're
little
so
by
much less
little.
wise.
I know, I know, and I wasn't super wise to begin with, so it's not looking good for me. But yeah, and then I had a good buddy visit me. Shout out to Hans if he listens to this podcast. I don't know. He games a lot, so he should frickin' listen to this podcast.
You
Uh,
tell him.
yeah, I know, right? Yeah, he visited for a couple days, and here we are on this Sunday recording our 11th episode.
11th
And
podcast. They can't stop us. They can't slow us down.
they can't slow us down.
I
And
don't
you
know
and I
who
were,
they is.
the man,
The
the
man.
the
They
man,
men.
they man. You and I were talking, and we were making a schedule, and we have, I think, at minimum 18 episodes that we'll record for all of season one. That's pretty. I don't know. I'm proud of that. I think
It's
that's
pretty
great.
good. I
Yeah.
mean, we know from our backlogs, there's always going to be a game to talk about.
Yeah.
As
Or
long as we're
two.
here, there will be a game to discuss.
Yeah. Agreed. Cool.
But
Speaking of games
DJ,
to
so
discuss.
many. But today, how about you kind of give the overview? What is today? I like how we're 11 episodes in and we keep saying we're starting a new series today. We have a new
No, but
a
it's not.
new theme. Well, we have theme episodes kind of. And so we
Yeah.
have a new one today. So I would like for you to give the listeners an idea of what today is all about.
Cool. So today it's a convince me to play a video game type of episode. It's our first, adventure into this. We tried a Frankenstein episode back by I think episode 4 or 5, and I don't think that format caught on where you and I both played separate games and reviewed them at the same time. But I think this is kind of an evolution of that where you've played a game that I'm not really interested in, and you're going to try to convince me, and then I'll do the same thing with another game later on in the season.
I think that's yeah, because I mean we have very similar interests,
Yeah,
but also there are also commonly games that we don't agree on,
yeah,
or maybe they don't strike our fancy as much. So one of us ends up jumping into it and playing it, and the other one, maybe they would like it, but they just don't play it.
yeah.
So instead of doing it as a combo episode, review episode, we're gonna do it more like this. We're gonna have the one that played it talk to the one that didn't and convince them. And that'll give two perspectives, one from somebody that has spent a lot of time with the game and played it a lot and likes it, and the other one that it's hearing about it with fresh ears and fresh eyes.
Yeah, super fresh ears and fresh eyes. I really tried to not, because you and I planned this a while out that you
Mm-hmm.
would try to convince me to play this game. So I have tried to avoid spoilers. I've tried to avoid reviews the
Okay.
best that I can.
Well, I
So,
won't. I won't try to do spoilery stuff,
oh
but
sure,
well, there'll be
you
something
know,
like this.
yeah, it's fine. But yes, so today Sam is going to try to convince me, DJ, to play Unicorn Overlord, which
Unicorn Overlord.
I still will sometimes type Unicorn Overload
It corrects to that every time.
every
So yeah,
time.
you
So
have to
many
watch that.
unicorns, so many unicorns.
So many unicorns, overload of unicorns. So why though? Question today: why should you, DJ, lord over the unicorns? Why should you be the unicorn overlord? All right.
I don't
So overview
know.
of the game. It is a little bit more unique tactical RPG style game with fantasy themes, knights, wizards, mages, those kind of things. It was released March 8th of this year, 2024.
Cool.
Released on all the main systems: Switch, PS4, 5, Xbox Series X and S. The developer is Vanillaware for popular for 13 Sentinels, Odin Sphere, those kind of things. Publisher Sega and Atlas. So, I'll get into my own review, but just to hint at how well liked this game was, how lauded this game was, we have some review scores here to mention. So Famitsu is a 36 out of 40, Nintendo Life 9 out of 10, RPG Fan 92 out of 100, Metacritic 89 out of 100, and IGN 9 out of 10. So basically right around that 9 out of 10. So very, very solid game. There was some talk from some folks when it came out to put it kind of in the game of the year category. I don't know if it'll stay up there. It's
Yeah.
a little niche in the type of game that it is, but I think for what it is, it absolutely deserves those rankings. So
I'll say right now, off the, just looking at those scores, that's a great score from Mitsu, 36 out of 40. And a 9 out of 10 from all four of the hardcore reviewers. So
those are pretty
that's
legit ones I mentioned.
I know. I will also say that they have scored games at 38s and 39s that I've also not enjoyed. So, really, since it's not a 40 out of a 40, still got to convince me, man.
So we'll make okay, fair. But that's why it's just one part of the story. Speaking of the story,
Hmm.
so for this game, it's set on the continent of Fevrith as it's consumed by war. The story follows exiled Prince Elaine as he gathers allies to take back his kingdom from the rogue General Valmore. So General Valmore leads this Zenorian empire, and Elaine is the resistance force. You have 5 different areas of the continent that you need to liberate kind of one at a time, and each one has a little bit of a different story and unique characters that inhabit that part of the overall continent, so you can get a little bit of a varied storyline in each part. Visually, it's gorgeous. You have this watercolor painting type aesthetic. Commonly, you have 2D side view for cutscenes, but then battles and overworld is this top-down view as well. During the battles, I would call the characters more sprite-like, but then during cutscenes, it's more hand-drawn and anime style. And then I really thought the lighting effects on that kind of watercolor style were well done. And then during the combat, the attack animations are rather vibrant and well done as well.
Cool. I love the art direction of what it looks like. I'm only really familiar with 13 Sentinels, which I've played the first hour of, and I was like, I need Sam to play this with,
Which we will at some
which we
point.
will at some point. So I think it looks really beautiful. So the art sells me on it.
Good.
It's beautiful without being chibi or cutesy like, but it almost borders into that still a little bit.
Close. But
Close.
then I think the backgrounds kind of take it up and elevate it, right? The
Yeah.
backgrounds are just so beautiful and not cutesy necessarily, just art, right? The
Yeah.
backgrounds are, yeah. Yes. So that's art. Good. Put that in the checkbox for positive. Fantastic. Audio, I also think is fantastic. So it's these bombastic, upbeat orchestral for the most part during the battles, and then during overworld and everything, it's a little bit slower and more subdued and atmospheric orchestral music. There's a total of 84 tracks. I
Whoa.
got which I own because I bought the upgraded version of the game, so I have all the music there. It is
Oh,
it is a shame though. I wish I could just hop on my Spotify and listen to it without having to own it, but it's a different thing. And then
Oh,
also there's some cool things they do with the sound. So there's even unique sounds or unique instruments that go along with certain characters, like Galerius, the main baddie, has a zither is what they were calling it. So this stringed instrument that kind of, I guess they play mostly when he's there. That I can't say I recognize that myself. This is something I read about when I was researching it. So
oh,
a zither or whatever.
yeah.
But I think that's how you spell it. Are you
I
finding it?
no, I think that's how you spell it. I was trying to find the composer. There's
But I
no
thought that
head.
was kind of cool, to
Yeah,
find like to try to pick instruments. I think that might, I don't know how there's so many characters. There's no way they did that for all the characters, but that's a
sure.
neat idea to try to um, utilize certain more unique instruments to highlight characters when they're around. So, gameplay wise, you got a few different things going on. You have this overworld, top down overworld that you, as a lane, the leader of the resistance, will explore. You'll collect items, you'll talk to NPCs, and then you'll get into these fights, different towns on the continent. And then when you're in each town, you'll commonly get a story beat. You'll either have an ally or an enemy in that town, and you'll get some cutscenes, and then you'll have a little bit about their backstory, and then you can decide after the battle if you want to basically recruit that person. If they're the enemy, you actually get to decide if you kill them sometimes or if you spare them, and then almost every time, if you spare them, they will join the resistance forces.
Huh. So you don't have to recruit every ally that you come across?
If you come across them and you kill them, you are not going to recruit them.
Well, yeah.
However, I never did that. I guess I'm just so nice, but I
Yeah.
never did that. But because I just wanted to recruit more people, and
Yeah.
so then I would recruit them, or they would kind of run off a few times. But yeah, I guess you don't. If you do come across them though, um, you would have to kill them not to recruit them, I believe, for the most part. They give a little
Oh,
thing that says you can recruit them. So I guess you could say no too. I think there was the option to say no. Now that I'm
so
thinking about it, I
okay.
think I
So
just always said yes.
but sometimes it's you got to recruit or you kill them for some of them.
You do so you do the mission basically. You liberate the town. You have the story about that person, and then you kind of have I believe you had the option, because I know you had the kill or not, and I think if
Mhm.
they were an ally, you had the recruit or not option. But I don't think you can come back afterwards
Gotcha.
to get them later if you wanted to. And you can kind of pick where you want to go, and if you want to go somewhere or not go somewhere else. But I explored all the continent in every area, so
Mhm.
I didn't skip any myself. But I think you have the opportunity to skip, because there's kind of main quest lines and there's side quest lines, so you don't have to see everybody if you don't want to.
Okay.
And so then when you liberate these towns, each town will give you their own armor, access to their armory and their provisioner, and so you can get different items there, and then you can do deliveries and stuff to get additional resources and currencies. And so there's a little bit you can do at each place. Battle system wise, what do we do within these battles?
Hmm.
So it is a tactical RPG, which is but a little bit of a hybrid, I guess. So you have this top-down battlefield,
Mhm.
and it's real-time movement of your characters or your units. So, and when you will try to kind of cross the battlefield with these units and take over the enemy's base for the most part. That's generally what you're doing. Each unit is going to be composed of 3 to 5 characters or individual actual fighting people, right?
Okay.
Or individuals. And so, and there's so much customizability with that. But so when your unit interacts with a different enemy unit, then they will attack based on pre-programmed turn-based battling. So that's where it's rather unique. So it's turn-based based on initiative and those kind of things, but it's going to be programmed based on how you do it. So you will take each character and you will kind of say they'll have attacks listed, and then you can adjust them, and you can tell them, hey, I want you to attack armored units. Hey, I want this guy to attack only flying units with this specific attack. So you can be really specific if you want to on how you want it to happen, and then it's going to play out how you programmed it. And you'll know how it's going to happen right when they interact. You'll know how much damage you're going to take. You'll know how much damage you're going to give, And if you don't like that outcome, if you're going to lose, you can adjust it. You can go in and you can change the programming. You can give your person an item. You can change change different aspects about it to switch and turn the tide of battle, which is kind of cool.
I hate it.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Let me keep going though.
Oh, you keep going.
Because why? It seems like too much.
The program, it just feels so sterile. That's the word that comes to mind. I don't know. But you finish telling me about the battle system, and then I'll interject more.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. So again, 3 to 5 characters per unit, and there are so many different units to customize these, or characters to customize the units. There are about 60 unique characters amongst dozens of classes. I think it's 20 or so. It's 20 base classes, and then you can promote those to a next class. So probably 40 total classes.
Cool.
And they're rather unique. So you have gladiators that also kind of heal themselves. You have featherbow ones that are flyers that have debuffing. You have elven fencers. You've got the normal mages, the normal big hammer wielding people that take out armored units. There's a little bit of everything basically. My favorites, we've chatted about this a little bit before. Travis, we talked about in my favorite thieves.
Oh
He's a
yeah.
dodge tank. He's got his double daggers, and he can do some cool attacks where he will steal the other person's action economy points, their AP and their PP, which is kind of cool. Berengaria is the Dark Mark or Dark Marquess. I don't know, maybe Dark Mark class. So she has this awesome kind of dominatrix almost like armor, and she hits super hard with her axe. She can do these debuffing attacks on the entire enemy party, which is awesome. Melisandre has 2 swords. She's a sword fighter, and I like some of the builds you can do because you can equip her with 2 different swords. A lot of the swords have come with different abilities, so then she can do so many things. She's very quick. And then Oculus, I think is how you say it, is a feather sword. So she was a flying class, kind of like this angel race that exists, and so that was nice to be able to fly and also have some pretty unique abilities too.
Cool.
You can make one of the 3 to 5 characters in each unit the leader. If it is a flying character, then the whole unit can fly and go over obstacles and go over, mountains and walls and those kind of things. Or it gives them just different abilities based on what their class was if they are the leader. And then it's kind of active and passive points is an important part of the combat. Active points is kind of how many actions can you take attacking, mostly hitting them and doing things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Passive points would be things like a reaction. You get to attack them if they attack you, or a heal, or a debuff. Commonly, the passive ones are more like that.
Hmm.
And then it's got normal gear, stats, leveling up, promoting, stuff that's pretty common in most RPGs.
Okay.
Anything that is standing out as positive there now that you're frowning at me?
I'm not frowning. Um, so it feels like it sounds kind of like the game plays itself in some ways, which is not a bad thing. That that was a system, not to this degree, but that was a system I know in Final Fantasy 12. I forget the title of it, the title of the battle system, and it was similar in the first Dragon Age Origins as well, where you can kind of program your non-controlled party member to act freely. And if you didn't like what they were doing, you could go in and you could change the parameters dependent on like a number of different things that go on in battle. Like, oh, if this person falls below 40% health, start healing them or start buffing them or protecting them. Is that kind of what this is like, where you program, you use the term program?
Yeah, I think it's
Yeah,
programming.
so
That
you
works.
program things, and do you basically see the outcome before it even starts, or do you see like the percentage likelihood of winning the battle before it starts?
It's not percentage likelihood. It's literally damage that your group will take, which you
Oh
don't know
yeah,
how it'll be distributed amongst the individual characters within a unit, and then
gotcha,
you know the damage that the party you're fighting, the unit you're fighting, will take. You
gotcha.
know that before you go into it, or once they meet, you know that aspect of it.
Okay, and can
Okay,
you
but did you like you said it was more, you said that was the gambit system in Final Fantasy 12? Is that what you're talking
Gambit?
about?
That's the term. Thank you for remembering that. Yeah.
Yeah. But did you
Oh,
like that system?
I only played a little bit of Final Fantasy 12, and I I didn't mind it. I thought it was kind of fun. I think back when it first came out, it was pretty divisive because people were like, "Well, you can just program the game to play itself," and I guess that's true. But I think you can switch. You're not just Vaughn in Final Fantasy 12. You can switch to be other people. You know.
Fair, fair. So were you doing an impression of yourself there a second ago when you said the program?
Maybe I
You
was.
no, I'm just messing with you. But okay, fair. But so a lot of times in a turn-based game, though, if your characters are less than a certain amount of health or less than 50%, your healer's probably going to heal them. If
Probably, yeah.
the enemy has an armored unit and you have a person with a big hammer that has an extra attack that does more damage against an armor unit, you're probably going to do that yourself. So this is what you do: is you select those kind of things that you would do anyway, probably on a turn-based attack. But then yes, once you have it all selected, then it plays out, and you watch it. You watch them actually do the attacks
Hmm.
how you wanted it to happen. And so you're basically making synergies. You're making things that work together. You're saying, okay, great, this person is going to take out the armored people. This person's going to attack real quick and seal or stop somebody that's really strong on the other team. This person's going to attack and take out their big bad and remove all their action points, and then this person's going to charge up an attack and we're going to defend them, and then they'll attack. So it's you're making a force, you're making a plan, and then you get to watch it happen. Now, it is more, but technically, yes, once you get into that turn-based part, it plays itself out unless you want to change it up.
Okay.
You are also, though, a little bit more active, I would say, on the overworld aspect, because you might say, okay, there's armored units over here. I know that this unit is good against armored units. I'm going to move them over towards there. You might say, I have a flying unit. I'm going to go over the mountains and I'm going to take out this sniper area in a crow's nest over here. And so
Hmm.
there's a lot of thought that goes into where you move them strategically. And then within the battle itself, you kind of just want to make sure you set the team up like you want. Maybe you want your defenders in front, your dodge tanks in front. So you set it up like you would with a turn-based party, and then it can happen a little quicker. So
Okay.
yeah, if that seems too sterile, like you're not making the decisions, then I can understand that. But I think you are making the decisions, and then you're just letting it play out.
Okay.
That's what I would argue.
That's cool. Did it ever feel like a visual novel in some ways then? When you would sit and watch?
When you watch the battling,
Yeah.
yeah, kind of. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. More during the cutscenes, it's visual novel. Or the cutscenes are a lot like a visual novel.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. And
Cool.
there's a lot of cutscenes, but so
Okay.
there's a lot of opportunity for the visual novel aspect. But
Which
anyway,
yeah,
so
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, the knowing the one game I know about Vanillaware that would track, 13 Sentinels is there's a battle system as well, but it is very visual novelty, which is why I think I need someone like you to hold my hand to go through a game like that, so I can someone can keep me accountable with it. Oh,
well, we'll check that one out. So this is good though. I like to hear kind of more about what you're looking for in a game. So in general, though, now that we've talked about kind of the basics of Unicorn Overlord,
hmm.
what do you really like about RPGs? If we're being super general,
Sure.
I can say for myself
Yeah.
that I like battle systems that work for me, which specifically means you have to be a little bit more strategic. It's not just going to be, okay, I'm leveled high enough, I just win, I'm stronger, I hit A and we're done.
Yeah.
I want to make sure I can gather new gear and upgrade my people. That's always a little fun. I want
Yeah.
to make sure I have synergies mostly between teammates. Yeah, like you want somebody that can debuff them, and then your big hitter comes in. You want it to work together as a team. I like that RPGs can do a lot of things visually that other games maybe can't. We've talked a lot about games that we love that have 2D HD styles and pixel art and stuff like that might be considered old school, but it
Hmm.
looks beautiful
Hmm.
when done really well.
Yeah.
You can't have a pixel art first person shooter, I don't think. It doesn't go. RPGs can have any art style, and as long as they do it well, it can work.
Yeah.
And then I like exploring a new area, collecting items, different currencies, and then using those things to upgrade and make my party stronger.
Yeah.
What do you like, DJ?
I like a true turn-based system for the most part, which because it is for me it kind of strikes the balance between feeling like a really active player and also feeling cozy. Which is it's funny to say that since one of my favorite games is a real-time RPG and not turn-based. I know that's kind of silly, but I like a nice turn-based system where you get to take your time and say, I'm going to make this action or this decision for this character. Now go to character two. Now go to character three and make that action as well.
Fair.
I think it's also fun when a game tries to put a new spin on a turn-based system, like Child of Light or Grandia. It gives you the option to mess with the turn order. If you hit your enemies during a certain time period, it knocks them back. So then you can make another hit. You can make it so your enemy never gets to get a hit on you in the entire battle, which is kind of fun.
Okay.
I I don't have a problem with simple turn-based strategies. I like some of the like Fire Emblem games, or the help me out, the Switch game that you and I played together a couple years ago, Triangle Strategy.
Triangle strategy, yes.
Yeah, yeah. I like some old looking graphics. Because I've been gaming a little bit longer than you have, so I
Ages.
ages, right? Yeah, just a little bit. So I'm used to the old graphics. I also think it's really special when a brand new game purposefully looks old. But sometimes I'm also in the mood to have my character models look a little bit more real and a little less cartoonish as well. So
Shout out to Bravely Default or
I know, I've thought about it though. I really have. I've thought about Bravely Default. You've almost convinced me on that game.
I don't think I'm going to convince you on it, but that's kind of you.
I think more than Unicorn Overloading, but we'll
Oh
see.
no. Well, we're only partway through the episode. Give
I
it
know.
time.
I'm gonna give it time. I will. But
All
yeah,
right.
that's what I like about a good RPG. Basically, cozy plus.
Okay, no, that's good. I like that. Anything specific about strategy RPGs? So this kind of has some strategy aspects with that tactical or strategy top down before the program turn based. Anything specific about those?
I like the challenge. I like the tactical challenge. It's really fun. I think it's why I like the some of the Fire Emblem games, or I'm so tempted to try Tactics Ogre. I think it's Tactics Ogre Let Us Cling Together. I've never played any of the Ogre games before,
Okay,
and I
that
know
one's supposed
you.
to be great.
It's
Yeah,
supposed to
and
be
they just
great.
redid that one, right? Tactics over
They
over.
they did they did,
Yeah,
and I think you and I both have never truly been exposed to Final Fantasy Tactics.
haven't.
I think we're both holding out on a remake at this
I
point.
think they're going to, right? Yeah, I am holding out on that. However, I could play it. I just haven't.
I could too. I just haven't yet, and I think at this point I'm just gonna keep holding out for that remake. I
Fair.
I love the top down, or almost like the 45-degree angle top
Yep.
down where you can see the
With that,
grid. I think that's
this
really
has
fun.
that. Okay, you got it. Okay.
Okay, okay,
And then
okay.
finally, for kind of getting a sense of what you like here, your favorite RPGs that you can think of, what stands out? I know for me, one thing that kind of stood out when I was asking myself this question is, in SMT5, specifically when you're fusing demons and making your own, it was so much fun. I loved it. And I think what I really love about it is is the customizability. You are getting to take that demon and add their skills and make them stronger in a way that you want them to be that works for your party. So I think that's what I kind of like is customizability.
Yeah, yeah, you totally do. You totally love customizability. I know that about you for these games, which is why I'm excited for you to play Persona 4 and 5 because I like fusing the demons. That's fun.
Mm-hmm.
I also I like this. It's the crest system. I think I'm just calling it that. I don't know if that's what it's really called in the second Lunar game,
What, you're just
where
making that term up?
I
I
well
thought that.
you obtain crests, but I don't think it's called
Ah,
the crest system,
gotcha.
where
Okay.
each party member has two slots for two crests, and and they all come with their own predetermined elemental powers and buffing powers and healing powers depending on what kind of predetermined class they are.
The
But
crest sets.
then you can put a lightning crest on anybody, crest sets, right? Or
Sorry.
you can put an earth crest on anybody, or you can put a mute or a poison crest on anybody, and then mute with poison will give you mute poison and whatever that combination is. Or lightning and earth will give you lightning and earth and whatever that brand new combination is. It's really cool. Or like if you put lightning and wind together, then you start making a thunderstorm.
Okay. So it's exciting to see what you can create there, what comes out on the other end.
Yeah, where you get like new secret spells. I think that's really fun. And Lunar is certainly not the only game to have a system kind of like that. That's just an example I'm using.
Okay, fair. Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Well,
yeah.
cool.
Okay, well, Sam, you have talked, you've given a good journalistic review so far of Unicorn Overlord. I mean, that's what we are. We are video game journalists, I guess. So good on you. But I want you to tell me, like, friend to friend here, like, what are your favorite aspects of the game?
Sure. I think I've been hitting on it. I like the programming battle system. I like the uniqueness of that battle system. Maybe using that word programmed is taking you out on it. I'm not sure, but I enjoy that. I'll harken back real quick to what you were saying, that I would wonder if the lunar crest system, something comes out of the mixing of those crests that you wouldn't have otherwise expected. You've got up to 5 characters with different abilities, and you can add a million different items, and you put them together in a way that it's rather complex, that you don't always know exactly what's coming out on the other end. You think they're going to work in a certain way, and then you watch it play out, and sometimes they work together in a beautiful way that you didn't expect, and synergize in such a way that's really fantastic, and you crush the enemy, and it's fun to see. So I would say that could be similar. But anyway, other things that I like that are favorite aspects. I like the different currencies. As I kind of mentioned before, I like
Hmm.
exploring and collecting. So you've got a lot of things you get to explore and collect and get through battles too. You get gold. If we talk about the currencies, that's self-explanatory.
Yeah.
Another currency is honor. You get that from battling, but all in the overworld, sometimes you can battle like that, and in the battles, you get honor, and you use it to hire more mercenaries, more people. You can expand the unit size. So when we say it's between 3 and 5, you expand the unit size by using honor to buy that. You can promote your units and use honor to promote your units. And then there's also just items everywhere. You'll see these blue like columns of light, and you can just run around and collect all these different items, and then you can sell those to the cities, to the towns, and get more honor and gold for that. So it's a fun little loop there. And it's almost like collecting characters too, like I mentioned, 60 playable characters. You're going around and you're collecting members of the resistance, which is fun. Got to catch them all. And and so yeah, and as I mentioned, just those synergies between those characters. How do they work together? How do I take all their different abilities, all the items I put on them, and make a party? And how does it work together? Is just really enjoyable for me.
I like that you can have up to 5 people in a party for Unicorn Overlord. That's really cool. I'll often Google like RPG or JRPG with more than 4 people in a party. And there aren't a lot of games that will offer that,
Let you do that.
especially in a turn-based, not in a strategy-based, but in a turn-based situation. The Lunar
Sure.
games give you 5
Okay.
each, which is very cool, and the Suikoden gives you 6 people.
I do want to remind you that this is not you selling me on Lunar. This is me selling you on Unicorn Overlord.
Wow, wow. Well, I've already sold you on Lunar anyway. We're gonna do it eventually. I'm just saying, like that's a plus in the plus column that you can have 5 folks in battle. Like more than like your 3 or 4 standard. Like you can have 5 people. I think that's great. Sucks that they're pre-programmed, but whatever.
I okay. I think I can convince you on something. So let's go through what you like so
Yeah,
far.
yeah, yeah.
Visuals. You like the visuals.
Oh
Check.
yeah,
Okay.
super beautiful.
Okay. Great. You mentioned that lunar crest system thing, and so I tried to equate that to mixing different types of characters, different items that can do different things, because there are a lot of items in this game that don't
Hmm.
just give you stats, they give you abilities also.
Oh cool.
Which is kind of cool. Like they might give you almost like a spell or an ability or an attack, a new attack because you hold this sword. And so those synergies are almost like something new that comes out of those combos. I think you might actually find that interesting if you gave it the time of day. I, I think it's really fun just collecting things. There's so many different things to collect and so many different currencies. You kind of find yourself in this beautiful map, just going around, picking stuff up, selling it to the cities, getting more different currencies, going to the provisioner and the armorer and buying more stuff and upgrading your units. Very fun loops. And then, one other highlight. I got you. I might have you on this one.
Okay.
So you don't necessarily have the ability to marry people, but you have to give this maiden ring to somebody at some point that you have the strongest bond with, and you can
Uh-huh.
give it to anybody.
Okay.
So I ended up giving it to, I think you pronounce his name Auk. Anyway,
Mm-hmm.
so Auk and I are married,
Cute.
and it's, yes, basically. It was pretty cute. Like, they don't really call it marriage or anything like that, but then right after you give him the ring, he says something to the effect of, "Now you have to compliment me every day," and it was kind of funny.
That's cute.
Anyway, I don't know if that helps, but I liked it. Let's see. So yeah,
That's
those are
fine.
a few things. How am
Okay.
I doing?
You're doing great. I think you're selling the game to any normal, not stubborn gamer. I mean,
That
what I mean to say is, OMFG, I'm so down to play it right now. That's what the script says, right?
well, that's what you wrote that
I
apparently.
wrote that.
Us
You're right.
DJ wrote that.
That's what
There's
it
no
says.
way that I wrote that 10 minutes before we started recording.
Totally not. Wow, 172% sold on this game. I'm literally playing it right now as we're
Okay, let's
recording this
just
episode.
episode over now. I win. You are convinced.
You did
Okay,
it.
okay. But I do have a few additional points. I think these
Sure.
are strong points. Okay.
Okay.
So you talked about, casual play, low stress play, things that you like about a game, being a little
Mm-hmm.
bit more casual with your gamerness there. So there are different difficulties. There are multiple, and there are some towards the harder end, but there is a story mode, which is the easiest. And there's a normal mode, which is also easy. I played it at tactical level when I played it the first time, but there's a few different easier levels that would let you get through there and not have to worry about it as much. Um, there's the
Can you change the difficulty during the
mid
game?
game.
Yeah.
I've never tried. I will have to research that for you and get back to you on that
That's
one.
okay. Okay.
I do not know. I bet you can. I do not know. Anyway, I don't want to speak to it. Actually, you probably can't, but I'm not sure about that one. I wish I could say yes. I'll just say yes. Yes, of course you can.
Okay, yeah,
Love
that's
this
great.
game. Anyway, you can use, okay. So a lot of these things with the programming or whatever, I feel like is bothering you. You can use an optimize function. Okay. So this will program the actions. I don't want to keep using that word because you hate it. This will just put the optimal actions for that character in the optimal order for you, so you don't
Mm-hmm.
have to do it. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
what they consider possibly an optimal order, and then you can just focus on the normal stuff you focus on with your RPGs. What gear does each person have? Making a party that has a healer and a frontliner and a damage dealer and all those things. You just make a nice party. And then you just hit optimize on all of them. And then it will select what is a good order of attack and which attacks to use or which skills to use, those kind of things for you.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can watch how it works and see it play out and see if you like it. There's always an item for the job. There's a lot of items in this game. So the items can make things easier on you. There's a whole bunch of XP and gold increasing items. And then there's also items that will make you increase your defense, increase your attack, not take assist attacks. There's so many different items you can use at the level of when the units meet each other. So the units meet each other, you might say, oh crap, I'm going to lose this battle. And then all you have to do is just use the right items to make yourself win that battle. So you can adjust the outcome of the battle by spamming these items. So that's kind
Okay.
of fun. It makes it a little bit more casual if you want to. And then the quality of life stuff. So this game is not, a game from 30 years ago. I think it's got a lot of awesome quality of life that I can sell you on here. Okay.
Okay.
So sit back here and listen to this quality of life.
I'm ready.
So auto battle, you can auto battle any sort of battle. If you don't want to watch it, you can just hit the plus and it does it. You don't even have to watch it. You'll just see your characters get EXP and level up and everything else. You can speed up battle both at the top down. So maybe you select, hey, I want these people to go all the way over here, and I want these people to go all the way over here. You just hold, what is it, the ZR or whatever, and it will speed up, and they'll go faster. And then also you can speed up maybe you want to watch the battle, but you don't want it to go very slowly. So you can
Mm-hmm.
even watch the battle and speed it up, which is a great option to have. You
Okay.
can speed up dialogue. So maybe you're not interested in this character. Maybe you're not interested in this, in their interactions. You can skip it all together, or you can speed it up so you don't have to listen to it. Or you can listen to all of it if you like that person and that character and that interaction. The map is awesome. I am embarrassed to say, you already probably know what I'm about to say,
I do.
that I didn't realize that this map existed. There's a few different maps. I did
Mm-hmm.
not realize that the awesome map existed until probably 50 to 60% of the way through the game.
Samuel,
I know. I did not know. I did
you
I did not
you
know.
are
There was a
such
different map, so I thought it was the right map. I thought it was the map.
you are such a map girl too. You
I
love a
I
good map in a
love
game.
maps. That's why I was gonna say, like, man, how am I supposed to defend this map? Because the first map I thought it was not good. But no, the map you have is great. You get to see every single fort, every single place you've attacked, every single NPC, like armor
Yeah.
or whatever, and you can fast travel to any of them basically.
You have made me notice more when games have maps versus when they don't have maps, and I will think now this game doesn't have a map. I don't. This is a notch in the Sam wouldn't like this game because it doesn't have a map.
When you're convincing me of a game, damn well better have a map.
I know. So I
Have a
can
good one.
only we can only play map games now.
I just play games that are making maps now. No, anyway,
Yeah.
but maps great. So last thing is, it's got a well-structured quest log also. So you can select the quest, and then it will commonly, depending on the quest, sometimes you don't have a specific spot you're going to fulfill a quest. But if you do, it'll put a pin down on your map where that quest is, and so you know exactly where to go,
Okay. Cool.
which is great. Alrighty. So I think that those things are great for quality of life.
I think that's great. I love some good quality of life for a video game. I wish older games would be remastered so that it would have all of these quality of life things that you mentioned. These are all in the plus column for me, Sam.
Is that
Good
it?
on you. Good on
Check.
you.
Good.
So, you told me that you love this game. Again, you gave me your journalistic view, and then you gave me your like real person, friend to friend view. How much you love it. What are some things that you may not like about it?
None. There's nothing. It's great.
None. It's perfect. All right,
No,
great.
no.
Episode over.
Yep. No. So okay. So I think the story and the presentation of the story might be a little weak at times. Specifically for me, the fact that there are all these characters is a huge boon, a huge plus for unit customization and all those things. But then they try to give all the characters a storyline or a reason that they're involved in the story, and I just think
Hmm.
that's a little clunky when you've got like 60 characters or something like that. It doesn't quite go. I'd rather they build up the relationships and the stories on fewer people, and not try to spread it as thin and as wide. So
Okay.
that's one thing that's rather weak for me, I would say.
Okay.
Yeah, and so let's see. However, each of those areas we mentioned that there's like about 5 different areas, yeah, for of the continent has their own story within them, and I think that's a little bit better story. But yeah, I'd say the story and the number of people, and they're trying to make that into a let's talk about each person's story is
Mm-hmm.
is too much.
Yeah. So story. So the
Story, story,
story's
story.
weak. Story. Story. Nom 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 story. Sam, Sam's all. Sam is always saying that I only like games with heavy story, and that if it has a weak story, then I'm going to hate the game. Which is not true. It's so not true.
Whatever you say, DJ. Whatever you say.
I like some shallow games too. That's okay. I mean, only story. Give it to me now.
I'm just gonna keep in the future. I'm just
Yeah.
gonna always write half of your dialogue that you have to say. I'll just do that. Okay, let's just do that.
You're letting people see how the sausage is made. We have a little like we have a notes thing in front of us of like
We just have an outline that
yeah
says
an
the things we're going to
outline, but
discuss.
we're
It's
not
not word
speaking
for
word for
word.
word. Oh crap, we just read the line word for word at the same time. Now they know.
They know we're
I'm joking.
lying.
So, something we always ask the other person on all these games that we review, I'll ask you since I've not played this game, would you do a second playthrough? And if you did a second playthrough, would you do something drastically different?
Yeah, I highly want to do another playthrough as long as
Ooh.
time permits. And I would do a higher difficulty. There's a few different higher difficulties that I would do. I would spend more time in mock battles and really try to, I think I learned the system pretty well, but it is so deep with how you program things. And there's so many different things that you can do that I
Hmm.
think I would really toy with it a little bit more and try to figure out how to know exactly that my program system is going to work the way I want it to.
Hmm.
A lot of times it's trial and error, and then you say, "Oh wow, that worked! I crushed that team, great!" And then you don't exactly know why. So I
Oh.
would go more into the why. And then there's so many other parts to the battle system that I maybe didn't even utilize as much. You can get assist attacks from certain units based on adjacency. I'd try to utilize that more. And
Hmm.
then I think there's an online coliseum where you can battle other folks, and that would be cool to see how badly I could get smoked by people online.
Cool.
I'm sure I would just get absolutely destroyed at first, but it'd be fun.
Cool. Let's say that you've convinced me to play the game, and I'm not saying that you have, but let's say that you have convinced me to play the game. What are some tips that you would give a new player like me?
Yeah. So use that optimize function.
Mm,
So you don't have to get too much into the programming part until you've kind of seen how it works. And then you
okay.
can do that if you want to or not. Utilize the difficulty setting that fits your playstyle. Find the characters that you like, but don't stress out about having too many of them. There are so many. Find the ones that get along with you. Find the storylines that you like and utilize those ones. And then
Okay.
the other ones, just you can station them in a city and then you can kind of not use them in your units.
I hate it. So you just put some characters, plop them down in a little city, and just say bye.
No, that is not no. But so you
Mm,
put it. They're still in your. Um, they're still usable to you. You can put them in units. You don't
mm-hmm.
just say bye.
Mm-hmm.
You can still use them, but what you're doing is you're using them also not in your units if you don't like those ones. You're using them to station them in a city, which is a function of the game that after you've liberated a town, you
Mm-hmm.
kind of station a person there and then you
Okay.
get more resources from it. They just kind of help you get some more stuff to spend on things. So
That part's
that's all I'm
cool.
saying.
That part's
Use them
cool.
effectively by just putting them in a city.
Do they, if you don't use them, do they gain any experience?
If you don't use it, do you lose it? Is
Do
that
you
what you're
lose it?
asking?
Yeah.
No. Well, so if you're not in a unit, they're not going to get experience.
Gotcha. But
But
I'm, yeah.
so the thing is though, experience is plentiful, at least when I played and on the setting, because you have items that can increase experience, you have skills that can increase experience. Um, you've got a lot of things that can increase experience. And then you have, I think at the end of the game here, I've got 8 different units, each with 5. So I'm playing with like 40 characters. And each time you do a battle, you deploy whichever ones you want.
Hmm.
So I'm keeping them all relatively leveled the same because I'll just deploy the ones that are maybe under leveled during this battle, and I'll let them clean up some kills on the battlefield and get more experience, or just make sure they're fighting the right units that they're compatible against, so that
Mm-hmm.
getting exp and leveling them up and keeping them evenly leveled for the ones that I'm using, because there's so many, especially if you start adding mercenaries in there, that there's going to be ones you never even try to use. But of
Mm-hmm.
the like honestly 40 that are in the units I use, they are all within 2-3 levels of each other.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So leveling is not a problem.
Cool.
Oh, I do want to mention, I
Yes.
should have mentioned this. Maybe this is going to be the thing. This is the
Okay.
one small point that's going to totally tip the scale. It's not, but I should have mentioned it with gameplay. Is it's almost like the kudos system for it's almost like the kudos system for triangle strategy, where you had a certain number of like
Oh,
kudos points and you could do
yeah.
different things on kind of more the overworld, right before you were like, not when you are battling somebody, more on the overworld. So this is on
Yeah.
the overworld. You can use, I think it's valor points, to do different things. So sometimes it's just an attack, like you can just rain down arrows on the
Mm-hmm.
overworld before you and to weaken them before you even go in there. You
Okay.
can use them to increase exp gains in the next battle. You can use them to increase your defense before the next battle. So you can strategize more on the overworld setting, how you use these points before you go into the battles. So additional strategy there.
Cool.
Yeah. Anyway, all right. So what is next?
Did you finish the game? Or
I'm upset to say it, but I'm literally in the final battle right now, or
oh,
what I believe to be the final battle. So
so you
pretty
so
much,
you finished the game then? Yeah,
pretty
yeah.
much.
And like
Yeah, yeah.
you obviously you felt compelled to finish the game then.
Yes, I will. I am compelled to do so. I will finish the game, and it's because yeah, that loop has just been fun for me. So upgrading my units, getting them more powerful, making optimizing them. If I notice that they're going to lose battles, I go in and I change the programming or I change the don't say that word. I change the
The
skill sets and the
mm,
orders of skills for each person. Uh,
of course, of course.
I change the way they're going to tell the story of their battle. Um, I'm kidding. I wanted to
Okay.
use story to
Yeah,
sell you on it.
Sam, the
Anyway,
fact that you would play a game a second time is incredible praise from you.
uh huh. I definitely will. It's a lot of hours to dedicate, but I definitely would go back into it. I'm hoping there's a new game plus feature that doesn't make me have to go through everything again, but I could
Hmm.
increase the difficulty and but we shall see. We shall see.
We shall see. So, did you convince me to play the game?
Find out next time. I'm just kidding.
You know, maybe. Genuinely, maybe.
Well, what did I do
Everything.
well? Then if we're gonna retcon this episode and what was we talked about visuals. What should have never said the word program, right?
No,
That was the
no, that
downfall.
is
Once
not
I
your
said
fault.
program,
That is not your fault. That is the one thing that kind of I saw some folks talking about online, and that's when I thought, okay, don't read anymore. Just let Sam tell you about it. Maybe you read it wrong. Maybe it's not how I interpreted it. Nope, you confirmed my
you
fear.
talked so positively about the Gambit system in Final Fantasy 12 that I didn't think that was going to drive you away.
I know, because as
Oh,
much as
sorry. This game is called Final Fantasy Unicorn Overlord. Does
oh
that
my
help?
gosh, well then I'm in it to win it. I mean, Sam, Final Fantasy 12 was one of those games that because of the pandemic, I think, is that's why I didn't finish it because we all got
Ah,
distracted then. Like I was playing it right leading up into it.
yeah, yeah.
So I didn't finish that even. But the Gambit system was similar, but
It's not the same.
I don't
I
think it's
haven't
the
played it, but
exact.
yeah, it's not the same. But
Yeah.
okay, well, I'm
But
going to keep trying,
I think you
and
should.
maybe you will give it another try at some point.
I think
I
you gave a dang entertaining dissertation on why this game is fun.
I would hope that if you get a wild hair, I'll give me this. If you have a wild hair to try
Hmm.
it again,
Hmm.
that you have at least the tools to play the game in a way that you think you'd have the best chance of liking it. You could utilize things that we talked about and have a chance of liking it.
I will riddle you this. You and I always talk about renting a cabin in the woods in the mountains
Uh huh.
for a week and just the two of us going and playing games. When
Uh
we
huh.
do that at some point in the future, I will dedicate at least one entire day to playing
Ooh.
Unicorn Overlord.
Ooh, that's a big deal.
That's
Okay.
a
Okay.
big deal. It's a big day. So, and I can't guarantee I'll even play it after that day, but I'll give you an entire day for that
Okay.
game to try
I'm,
to win me over.
I'm gonna be waiting on these royalty checks from Vanillaware
I mean,
for all the
seriously, at this
people that
point,
I'm
you
selling on
better,
this game.
right? No, like you should like tell
I
IGN that you have a better review than they have.
I don't know about that, but this was fun though. This is fun to try to
Yeah.
convince you, who I knew would be an obstinate um, uh, gamer for this specific game. But I like the challenge. I was going to give it a try. But anyway, so next challenge. What's your next challenge, DJ? What are you playing next? What's coming up for
What's
you?
coming up, man? Well, I am finishing Trails in the Sky 1. Will probably finish it tonight because I'm right there at the end. And I'm tempted to jump into Trails. I'm tempted to actually skip Trails in the Sky 2, and I know that is blasphemous to those like diehard Trails games, but for me, I've already decided I'm not going to play all 11, 12, 13 games. I kind of just want a little sampling of them. So I might jump into Trails of Cold Steel 1, which I realize I'm skipping the Trails of Trails in the Sky 2 and 3 and two other, I think they're called like the Bell Arc or some Bell Cross Bell Arc. Jumping into Trails of Cold Steel 1, perhaps, maybe. But you and I also have Fire Emblem Blazing Blades to start playing in August to review. So I will probably do that first and then play Trails of Cold Steel.
Okay.
Probably. What are you playing outside of finishing Unicorn Overload?
I'm gonna overload on these unicorns,
Yeah, you are.
and then I am going to, yeah. I mean, at some point, yeah, the next Fire Emblem that we're gonna review
Yeah.
for sure. But the other ones that are tickling my fancy to play is Paper Mario Thousand Year Door remake. I want to play that.
Oh, that looks
And
fun.
yeah, and then I know you're not a Xenoblade fan, but I loved Xenoblade 3 so much, and I have not played the DLC, and I have it, and I really want to finish that. So that one's really calling to me. I'll probably play that.
You know what I loved about Xenoblade 3? The big party size.
Yeah, you have a lot of part. Yep,
Yeah. I love that it was at six party members and then a
I think
seventh
it's
that was
six. It's been
eight
a while
that
since I played, but I'm almost positive it's six.
six and then a seventh one was AI controlled.
You can have an additional, yeah, depending on the side quest or the quest. Yeah,
Yeah. I thought that was cool. I really did.
it ran well with that too, especially on it ran well.
Yeah.
It was great. But okay, well, great. What is next? You tell them about our socials.
Yeah, our socials. Y'all, you can find Turn Based Besties on Instagram at, you guessed it, Turn Based Besties. You can listen to us wherever you listen to your podcasts. And maybe in the new year, also on YouTube. Let us know if you want us to start doing a YouTube channel at the exact same time as our podcast. You can also go to our socials and follow us and hit us up and let us know. Do you love Unicorn Overlord as much as Sam? Are you on the fence about it like me? If you really want, you can even email us at, you guessed it, folks, turnbasedbesties@gmail.com.
Or on our socials, if you have a much too specific meme about the game or a different game that you want to share that nobody else is going to understand, like I did about Unicorn Overlord, please share that as well. I think that's a trend I'm going to start, is that I'll share those on what I should only be sharing with like personal friends that played the game as much as me, but I'm sharing it to the world on our Insta. So I'm gonna keep that one going.
I love Sam coming in strong with the esoteric memes, man. Keep it going. I can't wait to see the one that you make for our next game because we'll be back, I guess, in August because it's July 21st now when we're recording. We'll be back in August to cover the viewer requested Fire Emblem Blazing Blades. I realize it's a couple weeks past what we originally wanted, but you know what? We're getting it in still, darn it. We
Yep,
are.
we'll make it work.
Big thanks to everyone who is following us on social medias. I'm going to keep saying until it happens. Let's get us to triple digits.
We're
Samuel,
gonna make it.
we're going to do it. I love going on these new adventures with you here at Turn Based Besties.
So, as we like to say, when everything in the world points right, maybe go left and see what you find. I'm Sam.
And I'm DJ, and this has been another episode of Turn Based Besties. Bye.
Bye.